Hello, everyone in Panther Country. This is Superintendent Tim Whitaker coming to you with Vodcast number 8. And my guest today is head football coach Tony DiSalvo. Welcome, Tony.
Thank you. Welcome.
All right. Before we dive into the season that just completed in very successful fashion, let's get started with a little bit about your background. So tell us about your background, Tony.
Well, I was born in Hudson. I lived in River Falls for my first 5 years. We moved to Cumberland, my dad's hometown. He moved back to Cumberland to become the head football coach and assistant principal there. Went to school, graduated from Cumberland High School in 1980. I went to Eau Claire first out of high school. Then I transferred over to River Falls and graduated from River Falls in 1985. Got into teaching. Of course, my mom and dad were both teachers. And then got into teaching, took over for the legendary Bob Thomas at Spring Valley in 1986. And I was at Spring Valley for 3 years, 86, 87, 88. And then I came here to Central in 1989 and had a good time. I was an assistant coach here for 11 years and then been head coach now for 17 years. So that's kind of my background. I have a wife who also teaches in the district who's a third grade teacher. She's taught everything, I think, in the elementary school. And I have a daughter who's a senior at Minnesota State, Mankato, who's going into education as well. Go figure, huh?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned you came in 1989. That was the year after a pretty big event here in this community. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, we took the brunt of a lot of the punishments that the Central team gave out for 3 seasons. When I was in Spring Valley, got to know those coaches a little bit, and they said, hey, you need to come over and be part of the Panthers. And I said, that's a good idea. And I joined their staff and really enjoyed working with those guys at that time. And we had a lot of fun doing that. And I learned a lot of football, got to know a lot of different people and a lot of different kids. And that's what it's all about, having fun doing that.
So, yeah, unless you've been living under a rock the last week or so, you obviously know that the Panthers won the Division IV State Football Championship down at Camp Randall last Thursday. So, obviously wanted to get you on the Vodcast right away, and your time and attention, I know, is in high demand yet. There's still a lot of work to be done to wrap up the season. But before ESPN calls you for another interview, I wanted to get the exclusive and talk to you about not just last Thursday's game, but the entire season and this team and the coaches. And there's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes. And I really wanted to make sure that folks kind of got that whole perspective. So let's go back to last Thursday's game and kind of how the season ended, and then maybe we'll work our way back from that point. But talk about last Thursday, Tony.
Well, I think it was a culmination of a lot of things that came together for us. The kids and the hard work that the athletes have put in, not only this fall, but last winter, last summer, working hard in the weight room, listening to the coaches, watching and studying video, going to classes. I mean, all of those things kind of, play a part. The coaching staff pushing hard. We push hard. We push our kids hard. I think it has a lot to do with our administration too, giving us the resources to be able to do some of the things that we've done. Mr. Kirk, I think he was a main cog in all of this too, giving us the resources and just ideas and thoughts. And it's a lot of people that all those pieces came together, and it was really neat to see. And I'm so excited for our kids. I'm really excited for our school district, and I'm even more excited for our community because so many times we have so many negative things that happen out there, and this is a real positive thing. This is something that they're going to always remember and cherish and love, and that's a great thing about what championships do, and it does bring back a lot of memories for people. And while I was doing this, and they'll always remember it. I told the boys this, and this is kind of interesting. You'll have some major things in your life: graduating high school, graduating college, getting married, having a child, and this is probably one of those top 5 things that you'll always remember, and that's so neat. We've had a lot of kids. I had a lot of guys that came up and said thank you for the opportunity to play, and even if we didn't play very much, we learned a lot, and thanks for letting us be a part of the team. And And they just brought me along for the ride. I just had a great time. I mean, I'm still on cloud 9 right now. That's great. I'm just so excited for our kids and their family and the community and everyone. It's just a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate your modesty, but yeah, I think football is certainly a different animal, and it's one sport where you got to put a ton of time in, and where you can, put a ton of time in, and as far as having video and being prepared for the other team, and you can outwork, get a big advantage, and I certainly respect and appreciate that amount of time and preparedness that you guys have as a coaching staff and you as an individual. I mean, I think it's, anybody who knows anything about football knows that our kids were well prepared for every one of those playoff games, because it's do or die. You win or you go home. Now, winning a state championship, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's a huge thing. Just getting there is a huge thing. But I wondered that how as a coach you manage that pressure, because kids they have to feel that pressure, knowing, the more people start talking about it, and what a big deal it is, and they see that we're sending, four fan buses and 2 band buses, and the whole community is coming to the event. How did you work with those kids to kind of temper that that pressure that has got to be there?
Yeah, I don't know if we all tried to be as calm as we could, and I think a lot of it is just our preparation, that week in and week out what we do. We didn't change a lot of things. We didn't put in a lot of different things. We just went about our business. And I think that's so important, is you can't say, hey, this is do or die, and you just got to go about our preparation. And we just kept our weeks the same, our days. Every day we do something a little bit different, but they all know the routine, and we stayed in our routine. And it wasn't we weren't going down there just to be happy to be there. We wanted to go down and win. And a bunch of coaches have told me that, and we that was the whole goal, was, hey, after we got beat earlier in the season a couple times, and we had some illness and sickness, and we felt like, we got to, these guys, there was a lot of potential here, and there's a lot of very good players on this team. And these guys kind of refocused themselves, and they could have piled it in and just said, the heck with it, we're going to be done week 9 and not make it into the playoffs. But they refocused, regenerized themselves, and the coaching staff, the kids, and I was very, very pleased with that. And that, I said to my wife too, this is kind of a neat thing too, that you never know if you're doing the right things. And I think this is kind of a culmination of that, is, hey, we are doing the right things, and we're doing the things that we should be doing to win a state championship and to set those goals high. And I think every team should do that too. If you don't, you're asking for trouble, and your kids aren't going to fulfill their the ultimate potential, and that's the key to this whole thing.
Yeah, you've said a lot of different things that kind of I wanted to expand on. One of them is, you said we push our kids hard, and you do. I think sometimes as adults or educators, we tend to undersell our kids and say, you know what, we don't want to put too much on them, more than they can handle. But people, but even especially kids, can handle a lot. If we raise the bar, they will come up to that bar and often exceed it. And that's something, I remember, I've done my share of coaching and officiating, but my wife coaching volleyball, I saw that. I mean, she's running the same drills and running a 4th grade camp as she is for varsity. Yep. It's like, don't sell these kids short. You can modify things a little bit, but yeah, I mean, raise expectations, and the kids will raise up to meet it. And your team certainly has done that. So speaking of kind of the attributes of your team, you want to talk just a little bit about the makeup, because each year and each group of players is different. What are some of the things or words you'd use to describe this year's team?
Well, I think the first thing is just hard work. I think they just got after it at practice, watching film. They were a very positive group. I never really saw a lot of negatives, and that, to me, they included everyone. They it wasn't, hey, I'm the best person out here. It was, we're all equal. We're all working hard. Our attributes, just hard work and a good attitude. I think those two things were huge for us. I really believe that.
Yeah, and we keep saying it, but great kids. I'm sure you saw Pete Nussbaum's post on Facebook, but he said it very well. His experience was working with the youth, on Saturdays, but a large number of your players, upperclassmen, the guys that worked their tails off and got beat up and bruised on Friday night were there Saturday morning working with the youth. And that's, I don't know, I can't say it any better than he said it on Facebook, but that's a very endearing quality to have in our young men. So kudos to them, kudos to their parents, and kudos to you coaches for making sure you facilitate that and work all the good qualities that they have into everything you do, because it's not an accident. Everything you have to do as a coach is intentional, and I know you're constantly second guessing yourself, but every little detail is intentional and adds up to ultimately success. So again, congratulations to you guys on a great season. Only 7 teams in the whole state each year out of 400 some high schools can say they're state champions. And I learned something this morning.
I can't believe that. You say what? That, I'm in shock when you say that. It's a great thing. That's a great thing to say.
What is it, 7 out of 400? You're a math guy. That's a pretty low percentage,
It's a very low percentage.
And everybody has the same goal. But only 7 can do that every year.
That gold ball. That's sweet.
Oh, I know. And our whole community got to take part in that. That was really special. Yep. What the football team did for our community this year.
That's neat.
So it wasn't always looking like you'd end up as state champs. Maybe midway through the year, people talk about that. And it was funny hearing Cole Gostovich give his speech at the send-off thing too. But he probably summed it up. But let's back it up a little bit, maybe about kind of just how the season went. Just a brief synopsis.
We play in such a good league. What is this now? 4 out of 5 years now, the Middle Border has been state champs in level at Division 4. The last 3 years in a row. If it's preparing us in every sport, it's not just in football. It's in volleyball. It's in wrestling. It's in basketball. I think what Ellsworth has done in wrestling, what Prescott has done in basketball, and what Somerset and Osceola and Central now have done in football. It just prepares you so well. Our league is very, very good league in all sports. And I think that really, really helps us prepare for the playoffs. And it's quite evident when we were in 3rd place in our league and we go down and win a state title. That tells you a lot. Granted, we were peaking at the right time, and we did peak at the right time, and we were playing very well at the end of the year. We're kind of looking forward. Is there another game we could play? Because everybody's turning around wondering if, hey, can we play one more? It's just you get in that routine. But we've 16 weeks of football. That's a long time for young men, and it's like a professional season, and that's crazy. We've been going since August 1st, even before that, and it's crazy the toll that it takes. And I told all the boys then too, they got to take a little time off, especially those winter sports guys that are playing hockey or wrestling or basketball. They need a week off or so just to get their bodies healed so they can actually get healthy before they start their winter sports, because holy man, they've taken some major blows and your body is just beat up. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think three of your guys were playing with one arm in that game.
Well, Colin, the first defensive series separated his shoulder.
Yeah.
And I know his left shoulder was separated. Stacey and Dr. Lickness and Dan put it back in, and they taped him up at half. And I've never seen a kid that he was not coming out of that game. He was going to lead us no matter what happened. And that's quite an attribute for him and his family. And I was so proud of him and so happy for him, because not many people can even walk around with a separated shoulder, much less than carry the ball in an option type team. He's a tough hombre. He is a very, very special person.
Yes, sir. You talked about the tough league. Somebody mentioned, it was a good stat, the last 3 years, St. Croix Central's played 11 playoff games. So that's equivalent of, over one full season of experience in very meaningful, tough games. So like, let's say the seniors, the last 3 years have had 11 extra games, which is good for experience, but it also, like you said, takes a toll on your body.
Oh, you're darn right it does. And it's really good, though, for our younger players, because think of, they had 5 extra weeks of practice. I mean, it's like spring ball. In most colleges, you're building your team in spring ball for the next fall, and we had kind of spring ball in the fall after our season. So all those kids got more reps. They're going to get better. And it's like anything else. You got to do something to be good at it. If you're going to be a good reader, you have to read books. You're going to be a good basketball player, you got to shoot baskets. I mean, it only makes sense. You're going to be good at football, you got to practice. I mean, not all of us like to practice. Everybody likes to go to the games, but not everybody likes to practice. And believe it or not, we do have some kids that really, really like to practice, and they like to get better, and that's really a cool thing. I think we've got a lot of good things going our way. Our C team was undefeated this year, and our JV team had 1 loss to the Menominee Reserves. So we didn't have we had more losses in our varsity level than we did at the other 2 levels that we play, and that's a neat thing. So the cupboard's not bare, for sure.
Yeah.
There's some good things happening with our younger kids, too. So it's exciting. Next fall will be exciting. I guess the bar will be really high.
Yeah, it will be. And I was looking through the state program, and there's some teams that repeat and some that don't. And, I'm sure after the 88 season, they thought, oh, boy, we could do it, and we'll do it every year now. But it just doesn't happen.
No.
Obviously, a lot of good things happen because of this experience, just the experience in itself. But also you look at the younger players all the way down to elementary school are going to aspire to win a state championship. But, yeah, the message is it just doesn't happen. It takes a heck of a lot of hard work and intentional focus and practice, the right practice too. Just running around throwing the football is not going to necessarily make you a better football player. But
I kiss my wife at the end of July, and I kiss her when I get back in November, and it's the end of November now. Usually it's only the first part of November, but geez, when are we going to do something fun? Well, we've been doing a lot of fun stuff. I tell her that all the time. But, kudos to all the wives, because they got to put up with us. I mean, we're getting home at 6:30 at night, and you start at 7:30 most mornings. Some of our guys are starting even a lot earlier than that with the kids in the weight rooms and things and in classes helping kids and things. But, you put in your 12, 13, 14-hour days, and game days get to be long, and they put up with a lot. They're raising little ones and coming to games and trying to do all that good stuff and maintain somewhat of a lifestyle. And it's really hard sometimes, but a wife of a coach is, I don't know, we had some, early in my career, we had some major discussions about that. Let's just put it that way, that every fall it seemed like, but she's gotten a lot better. I think she just kind of realizes that this is a passion and it's a hobby. It's not even a hobby. It's more of a passion than anything is, seeing kids succeed. And I think our kids really succeeded this year, and that is so cool. I am just so excited, so pumped for them. I can't say enough good things about them and the group of guys and our leadership of our kids. It really is awesome.
Yep, that's a great point. Players make a lot of sacrifices, but obviously so do the coaches, and it has an effect on the family. Like you mentioned, the spouses and a lot of coaches have young children and are giving up a lot of things, even some of their other favorite hobbies like bow hunting or whatever. But you end the way you ended this year. That's a pretty easy sacrifice to make. But
I think so.
So again, that's why you certainly congratulate everyone, because it is rare. Not everybody's aspiring to finish with a championship, but again, the reality is that not everybody can do it, and it's not that you didn't work any less harder when the ball doesn't bounce your way, but it sure is gratifying and rewarding when it does. So again, I know I speak for everyone. I want to congratulate the players and their families and the coaches and their families and the community. We've always had the great community support, but it sure was neat to kind of see that all kind of come out and just snowball and see so many people down there at Camp Randall, and even the folks that couldn't make it, they're watching on TV, or I talked to even my dad, 74 years old in Birchwood, watching it on DirecTV, and after the game, he said, that's the best football game I've ever seen. And of course, he's a little biased, but he says, I'd rather watch high school football any day, than NFL, which, of course, a lot of us Packer fans agree with that lately. But I'll tell you what, you talked about, that was a classic Panther football game where it just, ran the ball, out physicaled them, if that's a word. And that's, again, you talk about the time the kids put in the weight room. That's where it paid off. Just to see them, it was nothing fancy. It's just bread and butter. Execute your assignment, and good things happen. Keep your head, play smart, and it was a pretty convincing win. So that was classic Panther football right there.
Nice to see. I think we had the ball almost 35 minutes out of the 48 that we play. So you don't lose a lot of games with that kind of ball control. It was 34 something, but we'll round it up to 35. But we had the ball for 35 minutes out of 48. That's a heck of an accomplishment. Our kids, I knew as soon as that first drive, it was we were going to be in good shape because we just controlled the football, and that was really a nice thing to see.
Certainly was. Well, obviously that this is going to carry over and help build on next year, and everybody's the week's not even, or the season's not even 5 days old, but people are already looking forward to next year, and just what has happened this fall, just for our whole school. It's just been great. Our cross country team, the girls went to state, and volleyball team had a good season. The boys cross country team, the dance and cheer and trap shooting, and school report card. It's just been an incredible start.
It's fun to be around. We got really, really good kids, and people need to come out and support our winter sports and our spring sports. And we just have really, really good kids. We really do. And that's so neat to see, because we have good parents. If you have good kids, most of the time you have really good parents. And thank you, parents, for all your help and your sacrifice to driving into practices. And sometimes they don't like to always do that, and they complain about that, but we do appreciate it. And it's part of being a parent, I guess, but we have really good parents. We have really good kids too. And that's neat to see too. Definitely.
Anybody that watches these podcasts regularly hears us saying that a lot about our kids or our parents in our community. Again, very, very blessed, and obviously there's a reason that you've taught here and coached here since 1989. If we don't have that,
it reminded me of that, would you?
Yeah. All right. I know you got kids coming in about 7 minutes or so. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up, Tony?
Well, I'm just excited. I'm happy for the kids. I'm happy for our community. I'm happy for our school. Hopefully, as everybody said, I don't think anybody would be, what our first goal will be next year will be to get back to Camp Randall and experience that again. And, it's going to be even harder to do because people will target you for sure. But we're going to enjoy this for a while. That's the good thing about high school sports, is that it's done now. This season is done. Those kids are done, and I wish them all well. And, we've got a whole new crew now coming in, a new leadership role for some of our boys, and kids stepping into new roles on the team, and that'll be really exciting for them. And I'm excited to see that happen too. So it'll be a lot of fun, and I wish everyone well, all our seniors. And we've got some that are going to go on and play college football, quite evident, and then some that are going to go play other sports or just go on to further education. And I wish them all good luck with that, and I'll help them as much as I can with recommendations and all of those things that we always do, and try to get them as high achievement as we can and get them to their maximum potential, which is ultimately what we want them to do. So we appreciate it, Tim.
Yep. Well, and I appreciate all you've done with the kids and with our community. So congratulations once again. Like you said, enjoy it. And until next year. And for some of these kids that are graduating, congratulations. What a great way to end. You're going to have that forever. And I learned this morning they get to championship rings, which is pretty. I hadn't realized that, so that's pretty neat. Justin's going to come and do the sizing and have that forever too. But again, congratulations, and enjoy it. You certainly deserve it.
Thank you, Tim.
All right, take care.